like I told you earlier on, that we'll be hosting Kiprono Kitoni. He has made his way to the studio and we'll be speaking to him shortly. But the topic of discussion will be around how can Kenya boost international trade. And let's walk down some statistics and also some backgrounding around a key event that Kenya will be hosting in the course of this month, and that is TICAD. You may wonder, what is TICAD? Well, TICAD stands for Tokyo International Conference on African Development. That is what TICAD means. And Kenya is actually meant to host this particular event from the 27th to the 28th of August 2016 at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. Other than that, as Kenya prepares, this will be the first time TICAD will be hosted in Africa since 1993, when it was actually formed. Other than that, another key issue is, if you can go to the next slide, it's really about how can countries benefit from TICAD. Well, the real mandate of TICAD was, in 1993, the government of Japan was trying to see how can they promote development and peace and security. And these were some of the key issues around global trade. Apart from that, one would ask, what is a country likely to gain from participating in TICAD? Well, the summit really focuses on strengthening relations in multilateral cooperation and partnerships, particularly with the country, actually country-specific. Other than that, it's also a key conference that tries to discuss quite a number of issues, as you can see in the next slide, where you'll be able to see a number of areas that TICAD really does focus on. And the event actually brings together various exhibitors and will be attended by over 30 heads of state, including Japanese Premier, His Excellency Shinzo Abe, will be coming on board. And lastly, this is an important piece of information that TICAD seeks to discuss key thematic issues around industrialization, health, and social stability. Well, that's just a quick rundown about what TICAD really is. And we have with us in studio the chairman of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, that is Kiprono Kitoni, and he has made his way. Of course, a Friday, lots of traffic, but I'm quite impressed that he was able to maneuver the Nairobi traffic. Perhaps, Kiprono, looking at the traffic situation, does it really put off some of the investors interested in setting up in Kenya? Of course, you were caught up in this traffic.
I think, first of all, let me say that the KTN Standard Group has been quite brave to locate themselves here, because it's taken me almost 2 hours from my office in Hurlingham to get here. Mm-hmm. And really, if we look at the amount of time that is spent on Kenyan roads, it is, we waste a lot of time on the roads. Mm-hmm. If we were to compute a value to it, I mean, the economic consequence of that would be quite significant. Yeah.
And away from matters traffic, first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
You are re-elected as the chairman of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And of course, stiff competition, but you were able to regain your position at the particular, actually, the chamber, really. Yes. So coming into the chamber, what do you expect that you have made a comeback? What will you do different now that you didn't do then?
Okay, I think first of all, my re-election is really a vindication of the work that we've been doing over the last 3 years. We've done a credible job in reforming the chamber. We've been behind a lot of transformation, and we've been able to introduce issuance of certificate of origin. We are number one in networking. We are at the forefront of the economic diplomacy agenda. And really, the thrust of my re-election campaign was around the Hinia counties. So we want to now focus really at making devolution work. We want to partner with the county governments. We want to look at legislation that will improve the business environment in the counties. And I think the work is cut out for us. And we thank you also for the support that you lent us as the media during this time. It was very stiff competition. And I feel like that is also an indication that the work we've done has made the chamber an attractive place to be.
Yes. So why should a small business join the chamber?
For many reasons, including the fact that we are number one in advocacy for SMEs. We are also a networking platform where people can get together. We are the issuers of certificates of origin. And if you want to access foreign markets, we belong to a movement that's in 177 countries. So we have an extensive international network. We sign bilateral MOUs with many countries. We are, the Chamber also sits in very many international platforms. We run the biggest arbitration center globally. So the list is endless. I think I could talk all afternoon about that.
All right.
Yes.
And of course, you did see some of the key highlights around the upcoming conference on TICAD. Kenya has had a good run so far. We did the GES, the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, and that also led to the WTO, the World Trade Organization. We've also hosted the UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and we're now looking forward to this key conference, that is TICAD. Perhaps from a business community standpoint, what are some of the key areas of focus that Kenya looks to sort of tap big into from these conferences?
I think first let me cast the background of this. We started off with the WC10 last year, which was the World Trade Organization Council of Ministers Summit in December. Again, the first in the continent of Africa. And then we went on to UNCTAD, which is just concluded, which again, we had a credible showing by our country, and we seem to be moving from strength to strength. And the TICAD event is again a global first. And I think really credit needs to go to President Kenyatta and to his government for the really excellent work they're doing in terms of positioning Kenya as a global player. I think without a doubt, if we look at the last 1 year, the international attention has been in Africa has been on Kenya for all the right reasons.
All right.
I think our president is almost achieving a rock star status now in terms of the international political arena.
But has this translated in investments being made into the country?
I'm going there. What I would like to say is, the balance of trade is still not favorable. It's not in our favor.
Yeah.
And if we look at the key markets that we deal with, particularly the traditional markets, that is United Kingdom, Uganda, and other EAC countries, our market share is actually diminishing. And this speaks to the fact that we need to really look at enhancing the value of our exportable items. We also need to take cognizance of the fact that international trade is a process, not an event. A lot of bilateral agreements have been made, market access agreements. A lot of tariff negotiations have gone on over the last 3 years. The results of this will not be instantaneous. The bilateral agreements that have been signed, for example, with Turkey, with Korea, with India, with Israel. I mean, these are now, transactions that are going to crystallize in the next period of time. And for me, I think the real opportunity lies in enhancing our export capability. We really need to, and the Ministry of Industrialization under CS Aden are looking at that issue. We need to look at how we can enhance the value of our goods. We need to look at agricultural value addition on our agricultural raw materials, especially coffee and tea. I would say on the tourism front, a lot needs to be done. That's an export as well.
Yeah.
And we need to really spruce up the tourist destinations, particularly Mombasa, the coastal regions. Of course, we've been victims of,
terror attacks,
events that are beyond our control. But I do think that there's a case for us to really up our game in that front, and I don't doubt that CS Balala is going to do put a good effort to doing that. So the reality is the short-term gains are not realizable. But I think that in terms of stature, in terms of positioning, we are doing exactly what we should be doing. And Prime Minister Abe coming into the town, we were last month in Japan, Nagoya, with Ambassador Awori, and they have confirmed that he will be here with between 300 to 400 CEOs of leading Japanese enterprises. Japan is, I think, one of the largest economies in the world.
That's true.
So when you come in here with 300-400 CEOs, it is serious business. Yeah. So we in the Chamber are coordinating the mobilization of the private sector to this event. We've extended invitations to chambers across the continent of Africa. We have a few confirmations coming in, and this week as I'm here, I will be actively reaching out to our counterparts to come and participate. We are also coordinating a gender side event, and we are in discussion with the PTA Bank to organize another high-level networking session with them during this event. All right. My view is Kenya has found its place in the global arena. And we need to, as a country, take advantage of that. We are now getting access to these business enterprises, and we need to really find a way to synergize and do more with them.
Interesting that you pointed out that these particular bilateral talks are not instant. You should always take a long-term view.
Yes.
But looking into, as we go into TICAD, what are some of the key positions that Kenya has taken as we go to host this particular event? Forget about the tourism bit where we'll have top dollar being spent in the hotels. Let's talk about the real issues on the ground.
If we look at, for example, what the competitive advantages of Japan are, I mean, in the ICT space, in the motor industry, where Japan is very, very visible and present with Toyota and its subsidiaries. If we look at agriculture with the, prowess in the production of fertilizer, and we know that they're establishing a plant in Eldoret at the moment. I think it speaks to opportunities in those sectors where they have competitive advantage. But we need to also look beyond that, because there will be about 5,000 participants, not just from Japan, but from the rest of Africa. So it provides an excellent networking platform for business to be done with business, as well as business to be done with government, because we are looking at possibility of over 30 heads of state being in town. It's taken me 2 hours to get here. I wonder during that time how we are going to be moving. I think I'll consider getting a bicycle. But I think from a business opportunities point of view, really, we need to look critically. And I would love to come in next week. I'll be sitting in the steering committee early next week. And I'd like to come and really shed more light into the specific details of what opportunities will avail themselves.
Many thanks there, Kiprono Kitoni, Chairman, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, just giving us some insights around what to expect as Kenya hosts TICAD, which we will be covering for you on KTN Business Today from the 27th of August.